Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Just wanted to show you AE86 final drive assembly here. So you have the casing for the crown wheel and pinion, you have the pinion here, you have the crown wheel, and this is a TRD LSD. So this is a customer's unit that was making some noise, and it's an interesting one. I'm going to show you the rebuild and how we rebuild them here. We've done lots and lots. I've done shitloads down through the years of Corolla stuff. So this is the TRD limited slip diff. TRD is a really good diff for like a street car, because it's not loud and clunky like a Kaz or a Costco, and it's still a really good diff to lock up and do whatever you want to do. So it's probably the best option for a street car if you can, but quite hard to get in Europe. So the Kaz and the Costco can be very picky about the run-in procedure, and then that dictates how loud they will be when you go to use them after running them in. So some people don't run them in quite properly or good enough, and they start to bang when you're turning. So yeah, which is understandable because people get their new toy and they just want to do donuts all day long. So anyway, this one is after suffering from some foreign body damage. So this shim should be here to be the final one up against the casing here. This is the crown wheel flange, we'll say. And yeah, this looks like it got caught on this, and it basically made shit of it. And there's all little bits and pieces of it here that I've dug out. And yeah, it made shit of it, and then it spatted out one of these holes by the looks of it, and it went and found its way into the pinion and made shit of that, which in turn made shit of the crown wheel, as I'm sure you can imagine. And yeah, so the whole thing is in shit. So it's actually driving fine and everything, but it's whining really loudly. So we need to repair the LSD and get it shimmed back up, put it back together. This had a 4.8 final drive in it. I'm going to switch it to a 4.3 because this is a street car and it either needs a 6 gear the way it is, or it needs a 4.3. It's just revving too high. So I'm going to put a 4.3 in it, and I'm going to show the assembly procedure from setting the pinion height. So we actually have this that came out, we have it stripped and we have the old bearing taken out, but we have the really important, there it is, little bastard. There it is. So that is the pinion height washer that goes in here before you press on the bearing, and that dictates the height of the pinion in the casing, which is probably the most important part. If you don't have one of them, you need some sort of pinion height tool for measuring, and even at that, setting the pinion height correctly can be an absolute disaster and massively labor intensive. We already use a Weir solid pinion spacer with shims, and then the Weir final drive, and there's the bearings that we use. But yeah, so you can buy these on groupd.ie, of course, and the solid pinion spacer with the shims already takes a lot of setting up in the diff. I'll show you guys how we do that, and then I have a running torque gauge for the correct operation of the pinion in the casing, and that can be quite finicky, and you can end up swapping shims, and it can be in or out 5 or 6 or 7 times before you're actually happy with it. So yeah, we spend a lot of time with them just to get them right, but I'll show you the procedure of how we do it. But this is just the full stripped one. They're normally fucked when we get them, unfortunately, and we have to build them back up. So we'll repair the LSD with another shim, put it back together, and put the crown wheel and pinion on it, and we'll be setting up the backlash when we're finished with our dial gauge. And this should be another perfect unit ready to go back into the car. So we will skip forward a little bit and show you how it goes together. Give us some input. I'm fucking ugly, man. Okay, back at the diff. So this is all set up, ready to go. You have your bearings in here and you have your solid pinion spacer in here, just to show you how that works. Here you have the pinion, and it should have a bearing on here, and there's your solid pinion spacer. And with the pinion spacer you get a bag of shims. No, not this many shims, this is my collection. But you stack the correct amount of shims and you stack them on here to get the correct clearance for your bearings, the correct clearance to get the preload on the bearings when you tighten everything up. So that's how that works. Now in here all the bearings are fitted, the seal is fitted. On the wear instructions you can follow what they say to get your preload right, but in my experience it doesn't kind of work out that way. So what we use is this running torque gauge, and this gives me the running torque of the pinion, which is basically the resistance it has of how much the bearings are preloaded. So we fuck around for a bit, get it set up the way we want it, and once we're totally happy, that goes together, and then you move on to actually installing the diff into the casing, which we will do right now. Right, so everything is back together here. This is the final assembly. This is kind of the second last thing is the backlash. So I just kind of have it set up here. I hope you can see it. So there's the backlash. I normally kind of set it on at least 2 places, so I will have a mark on the diff, and I do it at like 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock, and then kind of get an average of the two, torque up everything and get everything set. So your backlash is done this way, TRD LSD installed, and then if I just pop this off, you can rotate it and hopefully you can see on the camera. Final thing is the engineer's paste and getting the run of the gears in the right place, and then everything is set. So that's how we set them up here. We've done lots and lots and lots of them at this stage. All the bearings, crown wheel and pinion, solid pinion spacer, all available in groupd.ie, and we do CAS LSD now. No, I mean the LSDs, once you have a TRD, a CAS, a Costco, they really are very reliable. So normally they just go back together, and it is the crown wheel and pinion that gives trouble, and you just can't do anything about the physical size. At the end of the day, it is a 6.7 inch diff. It will only handle so much abuse no matter what you do. Solid pinion spacer is a great job for, well, compared to the original Toyota crush sleeve, which is absolutely useless. We don't ever use them. They're just too weak. And yeah, so that's how we assemble a diff. That's the process, quick process of it. And yeah, you can get everything groupd.ie, and of course you can contact us for a quote to build a diff. We built so many of them down through the years. As I said, rally cars, drift cars, road cars, everything. So that's the whole procedure. Just the special tools needed. I showed you the running torque gauge. That's kind of something that most people don't have. So that's a real kind of proper technique from a proper workshop to set the running torque properly and not just chance the feel of the bearings, we'll say. And you need a dial gauge, engineer's paste, know what you're doing. If, for example, the tooth contact patch isn't correct, you need to take it all apart again and change the height of the pinion, which is the very first thing that we did. So it's an absolute pain in the ass if that's not right. So it's very important to know what you're doing, and very important for whoever's doing your diff to have good experience with it, know exactly what they're doing, and that is a very hard thing to find in my experience. So thanks for watching, thumbs up, and we'll see you next time on the channel.